Hello and welcome to another edition of our Journey to Debt Freedom. I am Sheila Wilkinson-Sanders and I am coming back to you to talk a little bit more about not spending money and making an impact on your life and on the lives of others by just saying no to spending money and to taking an active role in your life and in the life of those in your community. Yesterday was a huge day in the Chicago African American community as many of the church leaders and those in the churches came together to say to those in the city of Chicago and across the country that we're just tired of the same old thing happening over and over again. And the thought process being, which was very, very wise, is that if you really want folks to listen, if you really want folks to understand and hear what you're saying, you have to put it in its perspective that they understand and that they will listen. And so what happened on yesterday, on Black Friday, was that several hundred, over 1,000 people got together and said, we're going to shut down the Magnificent Mile. That is a shopping area in the city of Chicago with high-end stores where people go to spend money. Those who look like us go there, but there's also many who don't look like us who spend lots of money in that area of town. And so thousands got together and marched peacefully and rationally to say enough is enough. And so, the media wanted to make us think that it wasn't really a big thing. But I just want to share with you a couple of pictures here where you can see that clearly it was not a couple of hundred people as the media initially indicated. But after a while, they admitted that it was really over 1,000 people there that shut down North Michigan in Chicago peacefully and rationally, saying enough is enough. Now, my daughter came to me on Thanksgiving and she said, Mommy, I need you to explain to me again, why is it so important to not spend money on Black Friday? And so as I was explaining it to her, she said to me, she says, yeah, but Mommy, if I don't and no one spends any money on Black Friday, then my company doesn't make any money. And I said, exactly. That's exactly the point. Now, she works at a large perfume company. She's a lead chemist in their quality control department. And so they make perfumes for retail, for large department stores, for retail stores, for celebrities that have their name brand perfumes. And so imagine, I said, Mr. Imagine if that CEO of your company on Monday morning gets his report of the sales for the weekend. And imagine if his sales are down significantly because no one spent one dime on Black Friday, the biggest retail day of the year. Do you think he would sit up and take notice? Do you think if company after company after company across this country on Monday morning gets their sales reports for what they expected to be the biggest spending weekend of the year, and their numbers are lower than they are on a regular day, do you think that maybe there would be some meetings held? Do you think maybe there would be some phone calls? Do you think maybe there would be some changes that would take effect? Remember what I said to you the other day. The African American community spends $1.1 trillion a year on retail. So 1 day of non-spending across all African Americans would be $2.75 billion. Do you think that corporate America would be a little hurt by that? Do you think corporate America would say, maybe we need to listen to these people? Let me give you a couple of examples. Let me just give you a couple of examples. This is one of my favorite pictures right here. This is the Apple Store. I don't know if you can see this. This is the Apple Store on the Magnificent Mile, which is one of the largest and busiest Apple stores in the country. That's security. Those are the employees. There's no one in the store. I went in an Apple store once for my daughters because I'm not really an Apple person. I walked in the door and had my mouth open for about 60 seconds because I couldn't believe there were that many people in a store to spend their money. I said, you mean they're not giving something away? These people are all in here spending money? But yesterday, we shut it down. Do you think that the people at Apple are talking right now about what needs to change so this doesn't continue? So think about this. If all of you that did not go out and spend money yesterday went today and spent the money that you were going to spend yesterday in regular retail market, shame on you. Because you negated everything, all that hard work of what we did yesterday. The idea is to keep that money in your pocket so that you can gain power, so that you can gain assets, so that you can gain for not only yourself, but for your community. So if you're going to go out and spend, at least spend it in the African American community. At least spend it on essential things and not on just stuff. Yes? Let me put this on your heart to show you just the power of the dollar in the African American community and in our country. A little over a month ago, there were some students on a campus in the Midwest at a university called the University of Missouri, who have been fighting for years for equity on their campus, have been fighting for years against the injustices against black students on the campus and not making any progress. And so some younger students, some newer students, I guess I will say, came on campus and said, we got to start doing this differently. We got to make it more impactful for them. And so they started doing things like getting the staff more involved, getting the professors more involved. And it started to make some movement for them. People started at least making promises that they didn't keep, but at least started making promises. And they said, okay, enough is enough. We need some real impact and we need it now. So how do we get that? In their pockets. And so what they did was the football players went to their coach and said, you know what? This has gone on enough. This has gone on long enough, and it's got to stop, and it's got to stop now. So you know what? Until they go through with what they promised they were going to go through, we're not playing football anymore. Suddenly, there was a board meeting. You know why? Because if there had not been a football game that Saturday, there would have been millions of dollars that that university was not going to get. Suddenly, Black Lives Mattered. And people's heads rolled. They called a closed door meeting. They said, you know what, you're my boy, but you got to go. Because the money was much more important to them. So what I'm saying to you is that when I say to you, when I encourage you to not spend money, it's impacting your pocket, but it's also impacting the pockets of all of those around you and all of those around this country. You thought this was just about saving money, didn't you? So let me put one other thought on your head. Someone posted on social media the other day and said, you know, I get all about, protesting, and I get all about, not spending money on Black Friday. But, there's poor people out there that the only day of the year that they can afford to spend money is on Black Friday. Really? So let me put this on your mind. If the only day of the year that you can spend money is on Black Friday, then you should not be spending any money at all. You cannot afford to spend money if the only day of the year that you can spend money is because there's a sale on Black Friday. You need to be saving your money more so than anybody else out there. You need to be saving your money so that you can get educated on the importance of saving money and having money and spending money on essential things instead of on stuff on Black Friday when you're standing in front of a store and stampeding each other in a store to steal from each other's stuff. How about that? We have to start to think more logically. We have to start to think more as a community, as a village of one, understanding that you can't make it on your own. If you make $1 million, you don't bring everyone along with you, then it's all for naught. I hope that you understand the importance of this movement toward not spending money. Not spending money on Black Friday. Not spending money on Black Saturday or Black Sunday or Monday. And spending that money in your community, helping each other to get ahead, helping us to move from the injustices in our community to a more powerful community, moving ourselves from living from paycheck to paycheck to living a peaceful life. I hope that you remain faithful. I hope you remain focused. I hope you remain committed. And I'm going to leave you with just some pictures of those in Chicago standing in front of businesses saying Black Lives Matter. 16 shots, 13 months, and no justice. Your lives matter. Our lives matter. Stay faithful, stay focused, stay committed. I'm Sheila Wilkinson-Sanders, and I hope that you continue to have a wonderfully safe Thanksgiving holiday weekend.